Welcome, listeners. I am very excited. You know how I always get about people who have been through hard times and are doing things to help other people going through hard times. So today's guest, Meghan Wick, is one of those people. And I'm just so thankful, Meghan, to have you here. And she's going to kind of share her hard story, what she went through, in a really unique way that she's helping single moms and dads through the divorce and kind of beyond. So, Meghan, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You're so welcome. Can you tell us your story? How did you? Yeah.
So, about 2 years ago, I had a very shocking and traumatic divorce. My husband revealed that he was not the man I thought he was. He kind of dropped a bomb on both our families, really. So, he had been unfaithful our entire relationship and it was living a double life shortly after our second born. So, needless to say, it was one of the most challenging times of my life. Not to mention the world shutting down in 2020. This happened,
Mhm.
right in January of 2020. So it was very isolating, and there just wasn't a lot of resources because the world was scared, shutting down.
Yeah.
So, after I kind of went through counseling and try to make my way through this with a 1-year old and a 4-year old while still having to be in direct contact with this person. It was a lot of um, also trying to rediscover myself and figure out who I was without that wife label. That was something I held very dear. So um, lots of navigating that while learning how to correspond with him in a different way.
Right. And, having to because your parents.
Right.
And
Right.
so having to be there for your kids. And, that's what I'm always hearing from experts: fix yourself first.
Right.
So one thing that kind of I think happened to you was you did something and it kind of led you to the starting over.
Right. So after the separation, I ended up keeping our home, and with any loss, I had to kind of reclaim my space. So all the pictures had to come down. I repainted. I did a couple other refurbishing things, and I had a friend take some updated portraits of my daughters and I. And it was at that moment where I realized and wanted it to be, I wanted a session like that to exist for single parents like myself. And I didn't really see it offered by anyone. I said, you know what? It's time.
Yeah.
So I want, if I could be some type of light for a single parent going through, the hell that you go through with divorce when it's not wanted. Basically, these portraits are a reminder of your resilience and your strength. And when the bad days come, they can be your cheerleader when you walk past them in your
Right.
family room or wherever, and, an album on your coffee table. And so when I got these pictures back, I felt proud and wanted to kind of celebrate this new journey, even though it was hard as hell.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to
yeah,
quote you on that one.
yeah,
Celebrate the journey, even though it's hard as hell.
yeah. But again, without this terrible thing that had happened, I would not be have this sense of enlightenment and spirituality that I have now, because I had to dig deep. I had to dig deep within myself of, you know, it makes you put a microscope on your entire life when something shifts so hard.
Yes.
So,
Well, and I bet too, as you capture these photographs, I mean, I'm sure like you're capturing what is going to help them, you know what I mean? Like you can see that in the work that you're doing.
yeah. And I think for me, it also was very therapeutic to connect with other moms that were going through it, because again, there wasn't a lot of resources as far as groups. I mean, Zoom, that can only connect you so far, I think, personally for me.
Yeah.
So when I'm able to kind of have these sessions and able to, give moms a boost of confidence with the styling piece, even that
Mhm.
allows us to talk more and talk about our journeys together. And so really it was not only this needs to exist for like, memories and things like that, but it was also a connection piece for me. And it's kind of like art therapy,
Yeah,
really.
I love it. And you finding that the work that you're doing is feeding your soul and therapeutic
Yes.
for you. I mean, what a blessing. And I should say, you're a makeup artist and a photographer. I should have said that at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that makes sense. So you get to work with these moms and make them beautiful
Yeah.
and then take their pictures
Yeah.
with their kiddos or alone, I'm assuming too. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. So another piece of that, the starting over, is a lot of these moms, have been stay-at-home moms and they're having to get back into the workforce to provide for their families. So my main photography consists of headshots and those single family portraits. So while we're doing your, updated family portraits, we're getting some headshots for you,
perfect.
because you might be starting a new journey with your career. And I had to take a shift with that. My business kind of went on the back burner for a minute after the separation, and I had to get, a traditional 9 to 5. So I had to get back out there too and brush up the resume. And so it's all part of that as well.
Yep. Well, and I can imagine when you're going through, something like divorce, it's those moments of you're needing to do that kind of, it's kind of self-care is how I see it.
Yeah.
Kind of, and sometimes you kind of have to force yourself to take care
Yes.
of yourself. And so I'm sure, some of these women and men might be feeling like it's hard to spend the money on photos of themselves at this point in their lives. And do you have like any specials coming up, or how do you usually, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I actually have some Mother's Day portraits coming up. I have some mini sessions coming April 23rd. I'm going to be having more details about that on my website and social media at the beginning of April. So I'm still finalizing locations, but that's a good chance for people to not maybe bite off so much of the investment piece. So
Yep.
more of mini sessions. So it'll be like a 20-minute session. Not going into so much of the styling piece, you show up camera ready basically.
Right.
But getting further into the personalized sessions, those are, way more in depth and we spend a lot more time together.
So, okay, I know that you do this in Minnesota and Wisconsin. How can people find you if they're interested?
Yeah, I have my own website at meganleeartistry.com. I do have an H in my name. My mom gave me that one. And then I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well as
Okay.
Pinterest.
And
So,
we'll connect people to you in our show notes. But
okay.
and I'm thinking too, like if you're not in Minnesota or Wisconsin, this idea is still there for our listeners. I mean, if you're in Texas and you're going through this, find a photographer, get your makeup done, get some photos taken because it always makes you feel better. And I know it's always been therapeutic to me. And, sometimes you're like, well, I don't look as bad as I thought I did.
Right. And with that styling piece, it's the best version of yourself. I know people get a little worried when they hear hair and makeup and they think it's going to be overdone, but things do need to get bumped up for photography purposes. You lose
Yeah.
color, contrast, dimension. So it's important to have those things be looking their best. And when you look good, you feel good, and that radiates in your portraits. You know.
I love this. I love this idea. Do you know if there's anyone else doing this?
I've seen, some mother-daughter sessions, but nothing specifically for single parents after divorce, or the loss of a spouse. I've spoken with
Yes.
a couple women that have gone through that, and it's, divorce is a lot like losing someone that way, and no means, you know, I mean, that is bad, but it's the loss of something. So
Mhm.
um, that goes for those people as well, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, I
just,
love that.
yeah.
I love that idea. And I am so thankful that you were willing. I just met you. You're a new friend, and I am so thankful. I'm so thankful for you and your heart and that you're wanting to do this and help people. I think that is just such a blessing. And
Mhm.
I'm thankful that you were willing to come and share the unique and inspiring work that you're doing. So, Megan, thank you
Absolutely.
so much for being
Thank
here.
you. It was so great to be here, and I'm so glad we were able to connect.
Yes, you take good care.
Okay, thanks.